One. Hey everyone, welcome to Boulder Channel 1's interviews with City Council candidate Aaron Stone is running for City Council. Aaron, welcome to the program. How are you doing?
Thanks for having me. I feel great, Jann.
You're welcome. So I don't know anything about you. Tell me, who are you and why you're running for City Council?
Well, I've been in Colorado a couple of times. I lived here from 2000 to 2006, but in Boulder, I've been here since 2012, right before the big flood in 2013. And I'm a computer engineer by day, and
Wow.
I've gotten really interested in city council because we've seen this intense density going into our town. And it's really changing what Boulder originally was and the reason that I moved here. And we were always a city that controlled our sprawl, and we weren't supporting of all of these huge density houses. So I'm really concerned about that. But even more recently, we've seen a lot of problems going on with the Israel-Palestine conflict. And why is that a big issue for Boulder? It's because we have four different companies that we are invested in that are directly benefiting off of that. And over the past 2 years, City Council has been overwhelmed by citizens going in and asking City Council to divest from those investments. It's $35 million. However, so far, only one city council person has even entertained the idea of looking at and examining those investments. So I would like to open it up, re-examine those, and potentially divest from those. We know that a genocide is going on in Gaza. We have over 100 human rights organizations that have verified it, and even most recently, the UN. So this should not be a controversial issue. I believe around 70% of Democrats would like us to stop sending weapons to Israel, and I believe around 20% of Republicans. But in total, out of Americans in general, it's around 60%.
Well, the City Council says it's not their policy to chime in on foreign policy, but during apartheid, they did. They wanted the university divested, and the city put out some kind of statement against apartheid, and they've done it in other areas too. So this, I realize they're saying, well, we don't comment. I mean, they could just pass a resolution. They could do something, right? They could say, now they're fighting it out with the Palestinian demonstrators every single week at City Council. It's been going on for a couple of years. What is up with that? You
I've
can
been
look
there.
right
I've
up at
seen it.
hey, look right up at your camera. Okay, then people can see you. There you go.
Yeah. I'm
Better.
trying.
Cool, man.
Yes. So, I mean, what is up with that, right? There's a lot of very passionate people. We have public comment for 45 minutes, and I've heard very impassioned pleas. I've been at City Council for a couple of meetings now, and I've witnessed it. And it's fallen on deaf ears so far. Out of that 45 minutes, I would say at least 80% of the people are getting up and saying we should divest. As far as the city council, they're saying that we don't comment on foreign affairs. As you mentioned, they've done it before. In fact, I met a former city councilman. I can't remember his last name. I think his first name was Stan. I met him just yesterday. He said he was city council for 23 years, and he was one of the people who passed the resolution condemning the Iraq war. And honestly, that was the resolution that made me want to move to Boulder. It was about our values and making statements. Even though we can't control necessarily what the federal government does, we do have some control at a local level. And that includes putting our opinion in on what's going on in the world, and more specifically, our investments. We control those investments. We made those investments. We're responsible for them. And, I've also heard city council people say, well, this is out of the realm of city council. And then I always point them back to what did they say when ICE has been brought up? As we're seeing now, ICE is arresting people without due process, violating.
Have they come to Boulder yet? Do we know?
I'm not sure. I haven't heard about Boulder specifically, but more recently I've heard about Silverthorne. There was a raid up in Silverthorne. And we don't know all the details, but we are seeing a lot of video of people that are being stopped arbitrarily, without any knowledge or any due process showing that they are in the country as undocumented.
Well,
And
Boulder and Colorado did deem itself sanctuary city, sanctuary state. Now everybody seems to be backing off of that. Oh, no, we're not really sanctuary because we're about to lose billions of dollars of federal funding. What the heck are we going to do about that?
we already have lost quite a bit. In fact, I can tell you personally, I'm in a local arts group. We play Indonesian gamelan music. We've seen cuts to our performances because of DEI cuts. And and as I'm well aware, other performers are experiencing the same thing. And it's not just performers either. I was talking to the homeless shelter, All Roads. I was talking to Together. The homeless shelters lost 20 beds. The Together has closed at least one of their centers. They've lost their street outreach team. And we are having a hard time with funding right now. Things are getting more expensive and more tight. But the real question is, are we going to sell out who we are in order to appease an administration who is trying to
Well, this administration, I mean, excuse me, because if you read about the Third Reich, these guys are right up there with, De Fuhrer in Germany 1933. It reminds me of, I mean, I hate to say that the administration are loaded with and that
Well,
sort of Nazi thinking filters its way down into local politics at the level of. What do you think about that?
well, I actually have quite a lot to say about that because, as I mentioned before the interview started, I've been smeared nationally because I am, or I was, directly counter protesting Run for Their Lives. And I've talked to these people before, and I find that actually some of us, at least when we speak about it on the surface, we have some things in common. We want all the hostages released. I've heard them even say they want a free Palestine, some of them. However, the thing that I can't get past is that they're walking down our street waving a flag of a country that is actively committing genocide. And as somebody that went through a school system that has educated us so vigorously to know what the Nazis did and what led up to it, it brings images into my mind of 1938 Berlin that we've seen in videos. Even if they are trying to say they're apolitical, I don't see how that's possible. And the thing they're doing is very hurtful, at least to a large group of people. I know I'm not the only one. I've spoken to several people who feel the same way. I don't think
Which flag are they carrying?
the Israeli flag.
Oh, the Israeli flag. Okay.
That's correct.
It's kind of a mess, isn't it? Because we have Israel bombing Palestine, but then Palestine is the home of Hamas, and they've been a well-known terrorist organization since the 70s.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the 70s or not, but what I can tell you is that Hamas didn't just spring up overnight. And in fact, a lot of Palestinians didn't even vote for Hamas, despite the rhetoric. It's what they were given. And if there's an entire Wikipedia page on this, but when Yitzhak Rabin was assassinated, that was the last time that we had a hope for real peace out there. And at that point, the new party, the Likud party, they started to support and fund Hamas because they wanted to directly counter the PLO because they did not want this two-state solution to happen. So unfortunately, Hamas is the reality we're dealing with, but I don't see how it's acceptable to be bombing innocent civilians because Hamas is attacking Israel.
It is sure a mess. I mean, they have just nearly bombed Palestine right out of existence. It's really terrible. Anything else on city council while you're running or that you want to bring up?
Well, I did bring up the homeless issue. Again, we need to find a way to bridge that gap. We lost that funding for Together, and that street outreach team was probably the most important thing to actually reach out to people that are homeless and get them into temporary shelter. I'm also looking at other possibilities. I know that it directly relates into the functionality of downtown and how downtown's perceived when people are camping out along the street. I've seen people on the bike paths, and we can't continue to have that either.
One of the things, one of the areas that I've worked in my whole life is addiction. It's one of the areas I'm an expert in. And I do a lot of volunteer work right now. And a lot of those people, 75% of the men out there are either alcoholics or drug addicts. And the city is not addressing that issue. They will not treat those people. They don't treat them in the jail. The city doesn't treat them. They go housing first. And I often say, treatment, addiction treatment first. Treat those guys. What do you say about that?
I agree with it 100%, but I think you have to have housing and treatment at the same time. You can't treat them while they're staying on the street. And one thing that I'm thinking, and again, I want to get community input on this, but there are places where we could set up perhaps even a temporary camping ground where, because we do not want camping, right, on certain areas. But if they had a place to go that wasn't far away, but out of public
We
eye,
could set up a clean and sober camp for everybody to stay.
that's
And help
exactly
them
what I'm
out get
thinking.
jobs in there, treatment, food, sanitation, showers, everything, right?
That's what I'm thinking. And I realize this is private land I'm talking about, and but the Silver Saddle, you're familiar with that?
Yeah.
Well, city council just had a vote to lower the requirement of affordable houses from 40% down to 25 because the builder said they couldn't meet what they said they were going to do. To me, that seems like a perfect place to put something like that. It's back behind Evan G. Fine Park. It's away from the main thoroughfare where the tourists are coming through. It's close enough that it can be walked, because I've even talked to homeless people that are actually street performers in Pearl Street Mall. They don't want to go up all the way north.
We just closed 2 homeless shelters. The Tribe just closed, and then also the one for teenagers. They closed both of those. I'm like, well, that wasn't too smart.
No. And I was talking together about that too. They said that when it was functioning, it cost them about $800,000 a year. And primarily that came from the county. So the real hard part is, where can we bridge these gaps, especially with Boulder having such a tight budget? In fact, I just saw an article today. They laid off another 31 people and closed 60 open positions just before we
I'll
got
tell
this.
you something. I know we're spending $4 million a year with the police chasing homeless people around. Give
Correct.
me $4 million and I will house all of the street people and treat every single one of them. That's a lot of money. I mean, like, what are we doing? What are
I
they
agree.
doing? Ugh.
But we're a place that has limited space, and we're trying to look for places to put everybody also, right?
Well, you
The
see,
cost of land.
you're a well-presented young man, intelligent, clear-eyed. I mean, I like it. Why wouldn't somebody vote for you? They would.
Well, I may not be as young as you think. I'm about 49. I'm running 50, but
Well, you're okay. Well, even so, you present well, you're alive, you're breathing. You don't present yourself as a radical.
well, to some, I am being called a radical. In fact, I've been smeared in 3 different national newspapers that are very pro-Israel right
Is that
now.
right? Oh.
Yeah,
Well,
so yeah,
I know. Listen, some of those people don't like me either. So,
I
Aaron,
get it.
hey, Aaron. So listen, thank you. You can, we'll put, so you don't have a website, right? What do you have? You have
I do have a website. It is aaronstone.org, AARONSTONE.org. And you can donate there and get in contact with me as well.
Okay, and we'll put your information down below on when this goes up on YouTube. Thanks very much for coming on the television show and talking with you. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Jann. Appreciate it. Okay.